Hello, I'm Richard Vobes, the Bald Explorer, and I'm continuing my search of Sussex, part of my quest for England, and I'm continuing my followings of Off the Beaten Track by Arthur Stanley Cooke, and I'm starting here in Shipley in West Sussex, about a couple of miles or so from the A24 at West Grinstead, West Grinstead, got to get that right, and I've missed out, if you're following, I'm missing out in the book, I'm missing out chapter 2, which took me around Steyning. I've extensively walked around that in other videos, and I would really only be repeating myself. I've actually done a video here, a couple of videos here as well, but this is a walk to Thakeham and then on to West Chiltington. It's about 11 miles. I'm doing it in stages, so I hope you enjoy it. Shipley, the name Shipley, derives from sheep lay, meaning a sheep clearing, which I presume this was made back in Saxon times, possibly. Well, this is a Norman church, and it's a Knights Templar church. Now, in our book, Arthur says this about it. Its massive high-shouldered tower rises but little over the lofty roofs of the nave and chancel. One sees at a glance how akin to a Norman church it is to a Norman castle. And yeah, you can see how austere it is, how powerful, how it's a statement of strength. He says also, I doubt if this view of Shipley has changed much since the days of the Knights Templar, who built the church in the 12th century. True, there is a windmill close by, but windmills were invented at about the same time or earlier, so there may have been one even then. Of course, unfortunately, due to the COVID situation, the churches are still closed and we can't go in. But if you want to have a look inside it, I have made a video where I was taken round by a very lovely gentleman inside the church, and I'll put the link in the description. As I say, we're going to take an 11-mile hike, following in Arthur's footsteps to West Chiltington. So we'll leave the Knights Templar Church here and Shipley. Shipley itself is actually quite small and now seems very sleepy on this Sunday morning that I'm filming, but in the past it was a lot more notorious. As ever, Arthur Stanley Cooke isn't very precise on the trek that he goes. I'm guessing that roads have come in and things have changed somewhat in the 100 years, but probably not that much. He just kind of points us in the direction. So I've had to look at an OS map to try and work out exactly where he went, but he does say that there's a path at the bottom of the church and it takes us this way. It's a slightly circuitous route to get to Thakeham, which is our first destination. However, we're going to follow it and see what's there. Unfortunately, he doesn't really talk much about what he sees on the way, which is one of my prime interests, so I will. Just come through a delightful farm over a small stream, which I'm not quite sure if that's a tributary of the Arun or something. In the background we can still see the Knights Templar church at Shipley Church, poking up the square tower there. I said it was notorious. Well, go back to, I guess, the Middle Ages, and this area was very busy, like so many areas in Sussex, with ironworks. So there would have been iron foundries going on. In fact, it's here they made a lot of horseshoes and also crossbow bolts, incredibly. On the other side, we will catch glimpses of the windmill, the King's Mill. It's Hilaire Belloc's mill. He lived there from, I think, 1906 to the end of his death in about 53, I think it was. And he just thought it would be great to live with a windmill next door to you. The poet and writer. And why not? It's the sort of thing I would love to do. Jonathan Creek, the TV drama, was filmed there. I guess that must have been in the early 2000s, something like that. I can't remember, but I don't think they make that anymore. Another interesting fact about Shipley is it's quiet, it's very peaceful, but there was a workhouse there, and it was quite a notorious workhouse. Not quite sure where it was, but people would be sent, even from Horsham, to the workhouse if you had no money, and you basically it was the poorhouse. If you were a woman who was in the family way, shall we say, they would dress you, this is most demeaning, in a different type of coloured garment, slightly coloured, to indicate that you were in the family way. In other words, that you'd been doing things out of wedlock, most likely. Hello. I recognise this. Free roaming animals. Yes. This looks like one of the gates into Knepp, into where they're doing rewilding on the Knepp Estate. So just have to be a bit wary about the animals, I guess. Before we leave Shipley completely, perhaps we should mention something of the Shipley Gang, a notorious gang of the 19th century that terrorised the local inhabitants. They did things such as sheep stealing, highway robbery, housebreaking. The ringleader was James Rapley, who liked to be known as Robin Hood, stealing from the rich. But I'm not too sure that he actually gave to the poor. I think he was tried, and after that the gang became a little more sedate. They just concentrated on poaching, and actually most of the inhabitants, or many of them anyway, became customers of their nefarious deeds. According to the maps, this is Penn Bridge Lane. It should take me down to Penn Bridge. I think it's interesting that maybe one reason that Arthur Cooke didn't mention various things that he saw is because 100 years ago, I guess you would have taken all this for granted. Wow. How about this? Regular viewers will know that I'm actually quite frightened of cows, and here am I on a path forced to go through them. I don't know what they are, but they look very relaxed. I'm not going to go up to them or anything, just wanted to observe them. What beautiful cattle and amazing colours, free roaming on this estate. Well, that's a brave thing to do. Wow, you get a good view from up here of the surrounding area. How amazing. This is amazing. Amazing what you can see. I bet the kids love it up here. And of course, bird watchers and animal lovers. You just get some fantastic views. And if you've got the time to stand here and wait, you're going to see some amazing things. But I've got to get down to Penn Bridge. Right, this looks like I've come to the other side of the Knepp Estate, where the animals are walking freely, grazing away as they were. What terrific, what a brilliant first part to my walk. I'm guessing the Knepp Estate was here in some form 100 years ago, of course, because not far from here is Knepp Castle. But my walk continues down towards Thakeham, down this lane, Penn Bridge Lane. I don't know what happened to Penn Bridge. It certainly wasn't obvious. I think maybe whether it's called the Penn or whatever the little stream is that was going alongside was perhaps too small, didn't notice it. However, this is about 100 yards or so down here, takes us to the road. I'm going to cross the road and do a bit of a dog leg and then carry on towards Thakeham. So I shall pick up this walk and we will head into Thakeham, following Arthur Stanley Cooke off the beaten track in search of Sussex. We've certainly seen a lovely part of Sussex on my quest for England. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to follow, like and subscribe, become a patron, support what I do. Give me a thumbs up if you wouldn't mind, and why not leave a comment if you've been here. I would be fascinated to know what you have observed. Till next time, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.